vision for what this is gonna be. Because I love making playlists for things that I write. Academic rivals to lovers. Milo Thatch from Atlantis is someone I'm going for, like very brainy. Oh my god, he's so hot. Good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, or whatever it is where you are. It's evening, and I'm plotting another book. I'm not even done with the one that I'm writing, but like, okay, hear me out, okay? We all come up with new ideas seemingly out of nowhere, or maybe you're inspired by something, but for me, I have a little writing cohort, and almost every day, one of my friends, she gives us all a prompt. So she gives us like 15 minutes to write a little story. Just write as much as you can, then you're supposed to stop at those 15 minutes. I wrote something that I loved so much that once I'm done writing my epic adult fantasy novel, in case anybody's interested, this little book is gonna be the next thing that I write. What is it, you may ask? Well, definitely dark academia, adult again. Okay, the prompt was, you get this mysterious letter. This letter is waiting for you in your desk. Go. Then you write. But anyway, this girl gets this like mysterious letter from the Horticulture Society, basically congratulating her on her acceptance into this very secret society. And before she reads the letter, she recalls how a group of these society members broke into her house, her childhood home, and murdered her mother with stinging Penelopes, which are plants that can shoot little stingers at you. And these stingers might be a little bit gross, so trigger warning. These stingers, when they get you, they inject their nectar inside of you, as well as their seeds. Now, this poor woman, she was murdered by the society, alright? So they sting her, there's a bunch of nectar that like swells up her face. She's completely swollen by the time this little girl walks out to her mother. Once like the bad guys like leave, she doesn't even recognize her mother. And then when she tries to like wake her mother, because she's suffocated to death, her neck basically explodes with nectar, blood, and new seeds of these stinging Penelopes. Pretty gruesome. And then we go back to this woman staring at this letter, vowing vengeance. Like, oh, she's finally gotten into this secret society. She's gonna kill them all. That is the little premise of my dark academia book. That is exactly how the book starts off. It starts off with her getting this letter. She has been accepted into this extremely competitive botanical society, which I've been writing some background lore of this world, but I think it's really cool. In this world, humans rely... I'm thinking maybe it's going to be like alternative history, kind of. Think Babel. If you've never read Babel, go read it. It's by R.F. Kuang. It's so freaking good. Basically, in her story, this kid goes to Oxford in a world where silver and language both are magical conduits for a lot of cool things. But in my world, there are no magical conduits. What is very heavily used, other than for food, are plants. For example, the stinging Penelopes can be used for murder if you want. In this world, we have botany, the study of plants, and we have plantology, which is a silly play on the word technology, where there are plants that are used for the technology of this world. Not like solar punk, not like steampunk, but what I've now dubbed plant punk. For example, there are trains in this world, and the things that power these trains are electric puff pods, which are harvested and grown on top of the above ground trains. They harvest electricity, and that electricity in turn is used to power these trains. Isn't that freaking cool? I came up with it all on my own. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Terrible accent. I'm very sorry to everybody who is Southern. I apologize. 1,000 apologies. Yeah, I have named my main character Elvira, or Elvira, actually after my grandmother. She is a huge plant lady. She has a bunch of plants like all over her house, and she's been telling me about them, and they're so freaking cool. Every time she's come over to my house, she waters my plants for me. Like, she's amazing. Plus, I love the name Elvira. I think it's so classic, so beautiful, very elegant. Perfect for my murderous female main character. I have a couple of other characters here that I've been writing. I'm working on my outline for this. Okay, in Act 1, which is the first outline chapter, is kind of all I have so far. Elvira Salazar, a new student to the exclusive master's program in botany at Columbia University, receives a welcome letter to the Horticulture Society, the secret organization who murdered her mother when she was a child. She has sworn revenge against those directly responsible. Her mentor, Dr. Lawrence Ashford, and the professor in this particular class, sponsored her into the society after she spent the summer with him aiding in his research. She meets another student during this class, the handsome, and then I haven't written anything else because I haven't figured out this dude's name. Oh, hi, Cortana. My dog would like to say hello. Do you want to come up here? This is my dog, Cortana. Cortana, say hi. She says hello. This is my constant companion. She is always with me whenever I'm writing, whenever I'm in my cute little computer room. Game room, gamer girl room, whatever you want to call it.
She's a good girl. She's a good girl, isn't she? But I don't like it when you lick my face. No, I don't like that. No.
Okay, one lick. Go ahead. Yeah, no, she's a sweetie. But I'm already plotting what I'm going to write next. This one's going to be a standalone. I really want to start like on a mood board for this. I'm already thinking of like the themes for this too. If you don't know, I am Latina. I was born in Panama. A lot of us Latinos are indigenous. We are mixed with Africans who were enslaved, the indigenous population, and the Spanish, the ones who colonized us. So a lot of things that I write kind of go into those themes of exploitation. A lot of that's in the fantasy novel that I'm writing. And I guess a good bit of it's also probably going to go into this Horticulture Society book, which so far is called Project Horticulture, because I haven't thought of a more clever name for this. I'm planning to have some sort of twist. I haven't figured out exactly what it is quite yet, but it's not going to be as simple as getting revenge. Like, she has no idea why these people killed her mother. So that's something that she's gonna eventually find out. And then whether this handsome other master's student gets in her way or not, we shall find out. But what I would really like to do a little mood board and probably outline chapter 2 as well. We're gonna go ahead and open Pinterest because I love going on Pinterest when I'm writing something. I've done it once before, and it was for my fantasy story called Fruit for the Gods that I'm, again, writing. That is 100% my full focus right now. I really want to finish that draft in the next few months, and then get to the second draft, edit, do everything, get a query letter ready, and then get that out there because I'm obsessed with that story, and I hope you guys will one day be obsessed too. But I also really want to plot this here second thing because I have a vision. I have a vision for what this is gonna be, okay? I'm gonna screen record, and what I want to look up is dark academia and the word plants. Ooh, pretty. This one's pretty cool. I'm gonna save that, and I'm gonna create a new mood board called Project Horticulture. Ooh, this one looks cool because there's gonna be some cool maps and stuff, and we're gonna go to this uncharted territory, like in South America or something. Like, think Percy Fawcett. If you've ever heard of Percy Fawcett, he was an explorer who went missing in the 1920s. He thought he was going to find the lost city of Z. We don't really know what happened to him. Him and his son went looking for it. There are several different accounts of what possibly happened. Some of them say, he was murdered by an indigenous tribe who was not very friendly to him. Allegedly, he didn't bring gifts that he was supposed to bring, and they were insulted, so they killed him. But again, there's differing accounts. I'm thinking stuff like that. I'm thinking archaeology, I'm thinking anthropology. I studied anthropology for a bit back when I was studying at the University of Maryland for a little bit. But it's actually crazy. I got accepted to Columbia University last year in December, but I had to defer my admission, which again, still crazy that I got accepted. I wanted to go study either anthropology or creative writing or film. Haven't decided which yet. Maybe all three. I ended up deferring my admission to actually next year of January 2027 because I needed money and I needed to save money, and I have a lot of things in this house I have to downsize. Anyway, tangent. So let's get back to this. I don't know where I was going with that actually. Ooh, yes, we're also gonna have early ideas of anthropology in this book as well. Now, if you don't know, that's okay. I can tell you a little bit about it, but early anthropology was incredibly racist. Like, they were measuring the skulls of the black folk, the noses of the black folk, of people who basically weren't white, indigenous people, Asians, like everybody who wasn't white. They were measuring them and then coming up with bogus theory of why they were inferior, and they're using these crazy fucking antiquated, well, our standards is antiquated, but to them this was hard science. This was evidence that the white folk were better. Crazy stuff. But those themes of early anthropology are also going to be in this story because I love exploring this stuff. I love examining it through not only the modern lens, but also looking at it through the lens of that time as well, because it is important to understand the context of the history as well so that we don't repeat it. Duh. Okay, so this is what I kind of have so far. This is not exactly what I'm going for, but I'm kind of getting there. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this one. I like this idea of, like branches growing out of someone's hand. That's really freaking cool. Here's a sketch of a skull, which again, like I said, with anthropology, they would measure your skull and judge you and your entire race based on that alone, which is, by our standards, crazy, okay? Crazy. It is actually time for bed for me, and so yeah, I'm gonna go to bed and probably resume this tomorrow. Hello, привет, guten tag, hola, welcome to the rest of the video. I've worked a bit more on my little Pinterest board. I haven't added too much, but I think what I have, it's the vibe that I'm going for here. Anthropology, dark academia. I would not say this is like a enemies to lovers, which I am a sucker for enemies to lovers, but more of like academic rivals to lovers. One of my favorite quotes that I found for this, it says, "The purpose of anthropology is to make the world safe for human differences," which is something I very, very much agree with, and our main character is going to strongly believe that too, in a world where they are super cool with exploiting anything, everything, and everyone to get what they want, which sadly is kind of a reflection of the world that we live in. Yeah. So yeah, I kind of have started outlining. I have the first chapter completely outlined. The second chapter has not been outlined yet. I really want to outline the the first act for this. I really want to get started on this now, but I tried writing the first chapter the other day, and I was like, yeah, no, I want to go back to my fantasy novel, Fruit for the Gods, that I'm writing. That's the title, by the way, Fruit for the Gods. Here's the little mood board in case you're interested. Like, I love this idea. I am outlining it. I think it's really good. I'm super excited to get to this project, and I think the best thing I can do is just outline things right now. And kind of like what I'm thinking about is, okay, she wants revenge. How does she get it? And boy, have I been thinking of so many crazy fun ideas for how she's gonna do it. Like I said, nobody in this group is going to recognize her because she is her mother's daughter. But only if you look really, really hard. No one's gonna recognize her. Someone might, actually. I've also been thinking about what my characters are like. For example, the academic rival. Milo Thatch from Atlantis is someone I'm going for, like very brainy, obviously very academic. He's very enthusiastic about what he's studying and what he's learning. Our main character is vengeful, brooding, and actually at first finds him incredibly annoying because he seems genuinely interested in her work. This is not enemies to lovers. It's, you know, they're academic rivals, blah, 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 blah. They're probably gonna be forced to work together at some point or something, but this guy's actually endearing. He's actually genuinely kind to her, which she is not used to. Brooding, angry, vengeful woman, and she will have her revenge. She's hell-bent on it. But yeah, he's like super handsome. He wears these gorgeous glasses. Like, oh my god, he's so hot. There are a couple of characters that I have written, what their roles are, the general disposition that they have towards our female main character. I'm still building out her love interest / academic rival, which I love that kind of stuff. Like, if you guys have any suggestions of a preferably dark academia novel where there is an academic rival who also happens to become a love interest later on the line, please let me know. I'm such a sucker for those. Or if it's just straight enemies to lovers, I am a sucker for that too. But I hate insta romances, so please don't give me any of those. For the love of God, I don't like it at all. So the next thing that we're gonna do is I'm gonna sit and write more of my outline before the sun goes down, and then I'm going to work on my little mood board, and then I really want to work on my playlist for this as well, because I love making playlists for things that I write. I like to listen to the playlist while I'm writing something. In fact, I think I'm going to do my playlist first. That's actually a really good idea, so that way I can listen to it while I'm writing my outline. If you haven't tried making a playlist for what you're writing, highly recommend it. You get so many good vibes, and you also kind of get ideas from the music that you're listening to as well, which I freaking love. I love it so much, so why don't we just do it right now? Well, let's go. You hit the ground, bang, bang. What's life like bleeding on the floor, the floor? Okay, so I have the first 3 chapters of Project Horticulture outlined. Pretty excited with what I have so far. I tend to write really long chapters, like, you know, there's like the breaks in the chapters too, but my chapters are pretty long. I don't think I will ever write a short chapter. I don't know. I just feel like certain things fit, like are self-contained within the chapter. Like, I remember one of my creative writing teachers gave a suggestion, and it's something I'm kind of trying, but he said that every chapter should feel like a story that you can just pluck out and read that on its own. And that chapter alone, that story, it should be quite an intriguing story on its own already. Like, it should be able to stand completely on its own without the rest of the story, which I thought was a pretty interesting idea. At first I was like kind of skeptical, but the more I started practicing it, when you have all of your chapters together, it still works. Like, everything actually flows so freaking well from chapter to chapter.
Oh, hi, baby. Oh, she just finished her dinner. She just finished her dinner. Yes, you did, baby. Yes, you did. You want to say hi?
She said, "No, ma'am." So even though all of your chapters can stand alone, together they create a very seamless, good heckin' story, okay? And that's something that I'm practicing now. Maybe you should try it too, I don't know. I have the beginnings of my playlist, a bit of my outline written, and then I think what I want to do is make my mood board now. I love mood boards, I love playlists, I like to have rough outlines, of course, as you're writing the story. Things like change, or you add things, the world is built as well. I have some world building in my notebook that I showed you guys the other day. I've added a little bit more. Let's make our mood board using some of the things that we have put into Pinterest. Let's do that. So what I really wanted to do for this mood board was kind of give it like a bit of a grading color scheme where it goes from light to dark. On the far left, we have our main character in the corner. Very flowery, her ideals, that quote that I mentioned earlier. And then in the middle, we have the academic rival / love interest, who represents the endearing and bright-eyed pursuit of knowledge here. Like, he is kind of blind to the sort of things that he wants to learn about. Like, he doesn't necessarily understand the cost that comes with it, which I feel like early anthropology, that's kind of what it was, as well as archaeology too. It was a lot of exploitation and not understanding the harm that we can do to people. The other side represents the jungle, the darkness, and the danger that they are going to end up encountering in the novel. I also really want to highlight the quotes that I have here. There's the anthropology one that we have in the upper left corner. Then another one at the top that says "to be seen is the penalty," which for me speaks a lot about women in academia and how difficult that it was and still is for them. And then, of course, there's "a woman and the corpses of 1,000 evil men," which, vengeful protagonist. I mean, what else can I tell you? It is everything that I want. So, I have finished my mood board. Or shall I put it here? Or shall I put it here? Or here? Or here? Or just right here? Like, where you guys can all see. It seems a bit chaotic, but I kind of wanted it to feel like I'm going from like a really dark green, like jungle, scary place to the academic side to something a bit lighter. I have two very different protagonists in each of the projects that I'm working on. In Fruit for the Gods, my protagonist, she is a religious zealot, and her world crumbles when she finds out the truth of her religion. She has to navigate that and figure out her place in this world because her religion is her entire world. But in Project Horticulture, my character is very set in who she is. She knows exactly who she is. She has done everything she has ever wanted to do except for this one thing, which is getting her revenge against the people who murdered her parents in this secret garden club, as one of my friends put it. Hilarious. She is extremely sure of herself, whereas the female main character in Fruit for the Gods is insecure, very unsure of herself, is constantly trying to prove herself. In Project Horticulture, the female main character, she's smart, she knows she's smart, but she is surrounded by men and women who are constantly trying to put her down. So she's not trying to prove herself out of a sense of insecurity. She has no choice but to prove herself, if that makes any sense at all. I really hope it does. I'll keep working on my outline. I don't intend to actually start writing this until I finish my fantasy novel, but this is going to be the next project that I have, my Dark Academia book, which I keep looking over at like the mood board because it's really pretty. I really like it. I love both of the mood boards that I've made. Well, that was me planning my next book. I would love to hear how you guys plan your books, or if you're reading any books that are in that vein of dark academia. I've read Babel. I really liked Babel by R.F. Kuang. I've read Blood Over Bright Haven, which was so good. Both of those books are so good. Those are my recommendations to you. Like, they're really good. I really enjoyed them. Please like, comment, and subscribe because that really helps the channel grow. Thank you so much for stopping in and watching me basically ramble. Thanks. And bye.